Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for stopping by today. It is Thursday the 31st of December. It's just dinged 1 o'clock on the town clock, and this video is going to be one of my memories of Blackpool videos, because I had a few people telling me that they like them, so I decided to do a couple for you guys today. This one is going to be about my memories of primary school and the time I tried to get into the school choir. Now, when I was little, went to primary school, the school I went to, it was a little church school, and also it was fairly strict and draconian in its discipline, so it was fairly old-fashioned. So some of the things I tell people about my primary school, they're like, what was that, the 1950s? And I'm like, no, it was not. But yeah, when we entered our first year juniors, which was the year J1 back then, year 3 to today's kids, we had the opportunity to try to join the school choir. And we used to have singing lessons at school, not singing lessons in the traditional sense where you'd learn to sing and learn to breathe properly and learn the scales. It was more of a hymn practice, because we had daily assemblies where we sang hymns and stuff. So whilst it was called a singing lesson, it was really like just kids practicing singing the hymns for assembly. Anyway, once we'd entered year 3, on our first hymn practice, our music teacher, a lovely lady called Miss Huller, she said, I'm going to see how many of you can sing well enough to join the choir. Now, little me, I loved singing and I wanted to sing. It was all I wanted to do. I wanted to sing, I wanted to be a singer. Not in the famous sense or X Factor sense, because none of that stuff was around back then. I just wanted to be a singer, as in I just wanted to sing songs. And she took us all to the school hall, and you know those little green mats that lots of primary schools had when you had your PE lessons? The teacher would ask you to get a mat off the pile and sit on it, and you'd do your little PE exercises on it. Well, Miss Huller made us all get a mat. We spaced them all apart and we had to stand on our mat, and we all had to sing a hymn. We were singing Morning Has Broken, and I, as a little kid, I loved that hymn. So I was singing, and I'm doing air quotes here, I was singing it at the top of my lungs, and she was like, I'll walk round, listen to you all singing. If I touch you on the cheek, I want you to sit on that bench over there, and if I touch you on the head, I want you to go and stand at the back. And we were all singing, and my friend, who was at the other end of the hall, she walked past her first, she touched her on the cheek, so my friend joyfully ran over and sat on the benches, and so it went on. And it was weird, because for sure I thought she would touch me on the cheek and I would join my friends on the benches, because I was a smart little kid, but I was also kind of a dumb little kid. I was good at lots of stuff. I was good at reading, I was good at maths, I was a neat writer, and I was a good listener. And I had it in my head that anybody could do anything if you listened and you sort of knew how it worked. And in my mind, I knew how singing worked, and I listened and I knew the words, and I didn't mess around, and I paid attention and I was singing the proper words. Except so little me omitted to think of one gigantic and very important fact: I can't sing in tune. And I wasn't so aware of that as a little kid. So when she walked past me and she touched me on the head, I remember just being like, what? No, she's made a mistake. But I went to the back of the room with all the other rejects, and most of the kids weren't bothered, but for me, going in the choir was my main reason for looking forward to going into the juniors, because the choir got to go on little trips at Christmas and Easter. Just excuse me for a second while I wipe my lens. Yeah, if you was in the choir, you got to go on these little outings. They'd take you to local old people's homes and like just little places, and you'd sing Christmas songs or Easter songs, and the people in these homes always used to put on a little buffet spread for the kids to thank them for singing. So being told I couldn't be in the choir just made me really, really like sad. And I remember afterwards I went up to her and I was like, why did you sort of touch me on the head when I was singing properly? And she looked at me and she went, my dear, you're not singing the proper notes. And I was like, but I was. I know the song. And she was like, but you didn't. And I said, can I try again? So bless her, she goes, yes, you can have another go. Come back at playtime and I'll give you another go. So she took me back at playtime into the hall all on my own, and she played the piano. Just not a song this time, just scales. And she asked me to sing the do re mi thing, and I was like, do re mi, all like really out of tune. And it was like a little epiphany, because I was very, very aware when I could actually hear myself singing on my own how completely, abysmally and painfully I was out of tune. It was like, oh my god, my ears are bleeding. I was terrible, and I was trying so hard to sing the notes in tune, but I just couldn't. And she went, I'm so sorry, not right now. So I remember I walked away and I was really, really upset, but didn't want any of my friends to see me crying, so I just didn't mention it. And then a few weeks later, one of my friends in the playground, we were just playing together. She wasn't in my year, she was the year above me, but she'd only just joined the school a few weeks before, and I'd kind of friended up with her in the playground. And she went, oh, I won't see you at this afternoon's playtime. So I'm like, oh, why not? And she goes, oh, because I'm going to sing for Miss Huller to see if I can join the choir. So I went, are you allowed to do that? And she went, yeah, because I asked and I've only just joined the school. So I was like, I really want to join the choir as well. And I didn't get in the first time, and my friend, she said, oh well, you might have got better this time, come and try again with me. And I had been practicing when I was on my own. I'd go out into the park or stand in the trees in our local graveyard and practice my singing, and I was hoping I'd got better, or at least good enough just to get into the choir. So I went down with my friend, this little girl, I think her name was Sharon or something, and Miss Huller was like, oh hello Sharon, and she saw me and she's like, oh hello Leica, have you come down to watch Sharon sing? And I went, I've come down to see if I can be in the choir myself. And she gave me, which I now know was a total sympathetic with a pinch of cringe and oh, what am I going to say to this child look on her face. So anyway, my friend sang first and she sounded like she could be a future opera singer. Miss Huller gave her the biggest smile and was like, oh, you're beautiful voice, we might even give you a solo sort of thing. Yes, you can join the choir. And then she went, are you sure you want to try again? Like, I was like, yes please, I really want to be in the choir. And I was so excited and I tried my very best, and she looked at me and she looked genuinely upset for me, and she said, love, I'm sorry, I just can't. I'd love to let you in, but I just really, really, really can't. So yeah, I never got into the choir. Semi-happy ending for the story, because going into the juniors you also had the privilege to join the recorder group, and the kids who were the best at recorders got to go with the choir to play their recorders while the choir sang. So my grandma bought me a recorder for my birthday at my request, and I practiced it day in, day out, and absolutely tirelessly, and I ended up one of the best recorder players in the school, even though I was only in the first year juniors, and I got to go to all those places with the choir. So yeah, whilst I never got in the singing choir, I got to go with the recorder group, which was kind of cooler really, I don't know. Anyway, that is my primary school story of how I failed to get into the choir. So I hope you enjoyed that little memories video. So I'm going to thank you for watching and listening. Please leave me a like and a comment, and please subscribe, and I shall see you all very soon in the next video. Goodbye.